Thank you for coming. My name is Stephen Little. I'm the curator and head of the Korean art department here at LACMA, and I'd like to welcome you all here this evening. It's a real pleasure and honor to have you here for the coming out party of this wonderful painting. I'm going to say a few words about it, about Mr. An, the artist, and also Susan Baik, who is the donor, along with her husband, Prem Manjuran. So please join me in welcoming them. LACMA's collection of Korean art started in a small way in 1966, shortly after the museum opened here on the Wilshire Avenue site, but really became a serious presence in the year 2000 when we acquired a large and very serious collection of traditional Korean art from the Los Angeles art dealer Robert Moore. Let me say a little bit about Young Il Ahn, who is our honored guest, and tell you just a little bit about his work and the background of this wonderful painting. And then I'd like to just say a few words about how this gift fits into our overall program of developing a really serious presence of Korean art and culture here in Los Angeles. Then I'm going to introduce Susan Baik, who is going to speak, and then she'll introduce Mr. An himself. Young Il Ahn was born in Korea in 1934. He spent his early childhood in Japan with his family. His father was also a painter, and Mr. An had his first solo show in Japan at the age of 6. So he was clearly had precocious talent. In 1945, the family moved back to Korea, and Mr. An graduated with a Bachelor of Arts degree from Seoul National University in 1958. He is both an artist and also a very serious musician, and a very talented musician at that. His work has varied over the years. For the past, before the present series, which is very much based on the theme of water, and I'll talk about that a little more in a minute, but before this particular series, which has occupied the last 15 years, he has done other series, including a wonderful series based on music, and he had a wonderful exhibition last year at the Long Beach Art Museum, which was a survey of many decades of his painting. This current series, of which this is a beautiful example, this painting, which is entitled Water SZLB 15, was painted in the year 2015. And his work over the past 15 years, which has been inspired by water, really was, I would say, the catalyst for the work was an event that happened to him in July of 1983 when he was out in a small boat on the Pacific Ocean fishing and got completely lost at sea when a huge fog bank rolled in, and was for many hours lost and had no idea where he was, whether he would ever make it back. And this was a hugely transformative experience for him, to the extent that since then his work, or most of his work, has been based on the theme, the subject, the concept of water. And I should mention that if you look at his work in this particular series, very little of it is blue. This painting happens to be dominated by the color blue, but he has interpreted the subject of water, its fluidity, its mystery, its beauty, in almost every conceivable color of the spectrum. We are especially honored and thrilled to have this as a gift of Susan Baik and her husband for several reasons. First of all, LACMA is very proud of the degree to which we promote and present Korean art and Korean culture. I'm very proud of the fact that LACMA has the biggest galleries devoted to Korean art of any art museum in the United States. If you go to the other museums, the major museums that collect Korean art, which would include the Boston Museum of Fine Arts, the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York, the Freer Gallery in Washington, the Art Institute of Chicago, generally, by and large, they all have one room devoted to Korea. We have many rooms devoted to Korea, and to a large extent, that is a reflection of the fact that, as I'm sure you know, Los Angeles has the largest Korean population on the planet outside of Korea. And so I very much want LACMA to be a leader, not only here in Southern California, but also nationally in promoting Korean art and culture. I think we really want very much to be the leader in this way. And one of the many things we're doing in Korean art, and I should introduce here Virginia, better known as Ginny Moon. Please join me in welcoming her. Who is the other part of the Korean art department and the one who speaks Korean. And was born in Virginia, that's her name. In addition to promoting traditional Korean art, and one great example of that is the exhibition we had here 2 years ago on the art of the Choson dynasty, which came mostly from the National Museum of Korea. We're also spearheading the collecting and presentation of contemporary Korean art. We're very honored last year to have received a major 10-year grant from the Hyundai Motor Company in Korea. And you might be interested to know that Hyundai sells 19% of the cars in the United States now. And of all the museums that collect Korean art, LACMA was chosen to be the recipient of this major grant, which will support both global contemporary art and Korean art. And we're planning over the next, I think, 6 to 8 years, 3 major exhibitions on Korean art. The first one will be in 2018. These are funded by Hyundai Motor Company, which will be the first survey of the history of calligraphy and writing in Korea. That's never been done before outside of Korea, and LACMA will be the first one to do that. We're then doing after that an enormous survey of contemporary art in Korea, and then another show that's never been done before, an exhibition that just focuses on the 20th century, the period from 1900 to 2000. So we are very busy in this realm, and it's a real pleasure to be at a museum like LACMA, which has not only a great metropolis, but huge support from our community, and to be able to have the support of our administration in doing this. So that's enough from me. I'd like now to introduce Susan Baik, who's a wonderful and successful art dealer here in Los Angeles, and take it away.
I'd like to thank you all so much for coming tonight to celebrate this special moment together. My name is Susan Baik, and I'd like to express my gratitude, especially to Stephen Little and to LACMA, for working closely together to acquiring this painting by Young Il AHN. Mr. Ahn is an artist that I greatly admired, and it's been wonderful working together with him and his wife, Soraya Ahn. So I'd like to take this moment to say thank you to both of them. Young Il AHN moved to Los Angeles in 1966, and he has lived here since then. And I cannot imagine how it was in the 1960s, because when I moved here with my parents in 1981, because when I immigrated to LA in 1981 with my parents, people often ask me whether I'm Chinese or Japanese, and when I answer them, neither, I'm Korean, and often they ask me, where is Korea? So identity was an ongoing process, and for those of us who were immigrants in America, all of our effort went to building our own identity in a new country. And while Mr. Ahn was doing that, he was doing something else. He was dedicating his life to creating art. And last year, LACMA celebrated its 50th its 50th birthday. At the same time, Mr. Ahn celebrated living in Los Angeles for 50 years. In a way, it feels like they grew up together. And so to be here tonight and bear witness to one of his paintings now collected by this museum is a heartwarming. But I believe this is not just a special moment for Mr. Ahn. It's equally a heartwarming moment for the Korean community here and to LACMA, since Los Angeles has the largest Korean population outside of Korea. To me, it feels significant that LACMA, an international museum, and also our local museum is recognizing the talent of a local Korean American by adding his art to their collection. It seems like the beginning of a deeper relationship between us. I'm very grateful that I'm a part of this beginning, and I hope this serves as inspiration to build an even closer relationship between LACMA and the Korean community. And again, thank you very much.
I don't know, I'm busy. too excited. So I have nothing to say, but my family and friends knows that I don't talk much. Also, I have a problem a little bit. I speak through painting, not always a word. But this is such a special moment for me, so I want to try. First, I am grateful to Susan Beck and Prem Manjuran, her husband. Wonderful support. Also, I wanted to thanks to Stephen Riddle, Virginia Boone, and everything. LACMA for embracing my work. It means everything to me. Finally, I must give a special thanks to my wife, Soraya. It takes so much energy and strength from your belief and support. As I turned 81 this year, I am excited as ever about painting. Believe my best days are still ahead. Thank you.